Hello guys, welcome back to Fiddy Gaming after 5 months of not uploading a video. I will explain that in a future video, but first things first, I kind of want to do like a video because I haven't done one in, again, 5 months, so there's lots to kind of talk about, things I want to talk about. So, I don't know, I'm kind of improvising this video, but first thing I wanted to kind of talk about was replaying games. That's something that I don't really do much, is replay games, or like redo the entire game, like play through all the missions again. But when I do, it's usually with a good game. So I'm gonna kind of talk about what my experiences with replaying entire games or parts of games. You know, usually they're single player, very linear. For instance, games like, Just Cause 2. I haven't gotten that far through the game, and I only really do it for the open world aspect of it. So that's not really going to count here. But what is going to count is like Mafia 2, Brothers in Arms, Max Payne 3. Those are the games I'm going to mostly be talking about. And this is going to be a little bit out for you guys who are watching. This is kind of like comment what you think, or list some games that you've replayed and why you replayed them. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start off with Mafia 2. I got Mafia 2 for PC back around when they did Green Man Gaming did the awards voting, and I got a free Steam key off of it, and I played the game, and it was the first time I ever played it, and it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. Now I have Xbox Gold, and one of the games was gold was you could get Mafia 2 for free. And I was like, well, of course, yeah, obviously I'm gonna get it for free because it's a great game. It's worth playing again. And I replayed the game, and there were many things I kind of forgot about the game that made it so like charming. Like the characters, the voice acting, the music, the cars, everything in that game was just fantastic. And I think when you play a game twice, you kind of get a better feel of everything that's going on. So that, I'm replaying the game and I'm noticing, oh, this character has, this kind of like aspect to them that like for Joe, you kind of, connect with him more because you realize what's going to happen to him at the end. And a warning here, there are going to be some spoilers here, but you realize he's going to probably die in the end, so you connect with him better. The same goes for Vito, is that what's going down in his life. So you look at the things that were negative and positive about him and kind of make the best of it. His house gets burnt down, but when I first played the game, I thought when his house got burnt down, it was like the worst thing ever. But then when I played it again, I realized I've only had this house for like 2 missions, whereas like for Joe's apartment, I've had it for like 6 or 7 or 8. It's like the things that actually grew on me, I remembered. I remembered being in Joe's apartment much longer than Vito's house or Marty's apartment or really anywhere else. You kind of rethink about like Henry Tomasino. You realize that he was a rat who worked for the feds, and when you first play the game, you're kind of supportive of him. And when I first beat the game, I still cared for the character. And now when I'm done, I still care for him playing it the second time. But you kind of realize like, yeah, that was really bad. Like he kind of earned his way into that, that problem. And then I think you remember the characters a lot better. So the one thing about Mafia 2 is that I started listening to the radio. I had a lot more fun, playing it, because you just started to notice the small things. I looked at like some guides and everything, like how to break into how to get the stamps without setting off the alarm. That was a big one. And it sometimes makes the game more challenging, but that's the fun of playing it again, that you can kind of boost the challenges more and more. And so like the one mission where you have to deliver the gas stamps to the gas stations before midnight, each time I play it, it gets better and better because I constantly remember what could go wrong. And so I think about, okay, I'm going to go to this gas station first and then this one, and I'm not worried about what could possibly go wrong because I know what's going on. So Mafia 2, that was really like a really fun game to replay because there's just so much to it that you could easily just forget if you just don't play it again. So if you have Mafia 2, and you haven't played in a while, I definitely recommend that you play it just, the whole game over. I'm not saying you necessarily have to restart and erase all your data, but go for the first mission, play throughout the last mission. I completed the game in about 2 to 3 days, taking some breaks and everything. But that's just how it works. I mean, you play these games and you're dedicated to them. There's not really any other game you want to play. But all right, so that's Mafia 2. Definitely recommend if you have any time, replay the game if you haven't played it in a while. I'm not saying like a month afterwards. I'm 2 months, half a year, maybe a year. If you haven't played it in a long time, under what you think is a long time, definitely recommend that you replay it. The next game I want to talk about would be Brothers in Arms. Now I'm talking about any of the 3 games in the main series. So Road to Hill 30, Earned in Blood, and Hell's Highway. Any of those 3 games I definitely recommend replaying. I don't know much about the mobile games, so if you like playing the mobile games and you recommend replaying them, that's your opinion, but I don't know much about the mobile games. What made the Brothers in Arms games made such a big impact in my life, I don't know if I've said this before or not on this channel, but the story was just so deep, and the characters were like so fun to connect to the characters because there's just so much backstory to them. With Matt Baker and Joe and Rojas and seeing just all the guys die like that. But the game for me was a point where I started. It was the first and for mature game I played. One of the first-person shooters I played. The second World War II game I played, the first one being Medal of Honor Frontline, another great World War II game I recommend for anybody. But the game was so great. I mean, I played it again. I had Brothers in Arms Road to Hill 30, and I had Earned in Blood for the original Xbox. And those were really fun. I got through the entire game pretty hard, even on easy, but I was able to beat the game. And then I got both the games on PC again, and I'm replaying Road to Hill 30, and I'm kind of realizing all the things about what made it great, and the things that make it fun on both systems. I mean, it's not just an Xbox exclusive game, it's not just a PC exclusive, it's fun on multiple consoles, and you could even get more joy on one or another. It just depends on how you play the game. I mean, I think because of how much nostalgia I have it for Xbox, I prefer Xbox over PC, but excuse me, it's just what I enjoy, more. The Xbox version was just, it was the first time I really picked up a game, was like, okay, let's do this. And I proceeded to defeat it, and I'm just like, wow, I was mesmerized. How important that game was into my gaming life was huge. But back to the point, it was the story was well done. Gearbox did a fantastic job designing the game, making the game, for the audio, the look of it, the realism. It probably is one of the few major things that sparked my interest into World War II, like Saving Private Ryan and going to the Dayton National Air Force Museum, and those were the 3 main things that really just kind of kept my interest into World War II, huge, as well as my grandfather. My grandfather, if it wasn't for my grandfather, I mean, wars would never be as interesting as they just wouldn't be as interesting. So special shout out to him. But anyway, so back to the point. I mean, it's really been a major staple in my life, and I probably wouldn't be as interested in certain subjects like first-person shooters and gaming in World War II if it wasn't for Brothers in Arms, because it just made it so fun to learn about and to take part in. Because when you play that game, you definitely feel like you're in there, So I mean, and so replaying it was probably one of the most favorite things to do on the computer. Playing any game was just replaying it, because there's so much to remember and bring in, like nostalgia-wise. It's insane. So I mean, if you ever want to pick up a good World War II game, or ever want to replay one, Brothers in Arms is a definite yes. Go get it. It's so worth it. It's probably one of the best World War II game ever made. Sorry, Medal of Honor Frontline, but you're like a close third or fourth. Because the Brothers in Arms series just wipes them all out of the way. I think it's a very underrated series. Not everybody knows about them. And so whenever I hear about it in like news or r/gaming on Reddit, I always get very, very excited because you never hear about the Brothers in Arms. You know, most recent news is Furious 4, and you haven't heard anything about that in a year. You know, they're talking about making Brothers in Arms and then Borderlands 3, and look what's going on now. They're making Borderlands 3, so which is no problem because it's a fantastic game series, Borderlands is. But you know, because of how important Brothers in Arms is, I'm always going to want that first. But that's just me. The third game I'm going to talk about that you should replay is Max Payne 3. Or really any Max Payne game in the series. But I'm going to talk about Max Payne 3 because I have actually replayed this game. So, the one thing about Max Payne 3 is that it while some of the older fans may not have enjoyed it for being very cover heavy and you know, very distancing itself away from the original Max Payne, I absolutely loved the first two games, and the third game just blew me away. The voice acting, the animations, the story was all gripping, and it brought me into. I was like, okay, Sao Paulo, Sao Paulo. I can't remember how it's pronounced, but I was like, okay, this is what's going on. And you have the Ufe trying to kill me, and then you have you have the Broncos, and the older brother's corrupt, and well, not the older brother, but the middle child's like corrupt, and he's the politician, and there's just so much going on. I haven't played it in a while, so my memory isn't all that great about it, but so much was going on in that game that I just learned more and more things about it, and it really, the whole Max Payne series has just blown me away. But Max Payne 3 had something special because it was gory, it was fun. There was just, the characters were really fun to like listen, and the color, like the look of the game wasn't just like brown dirt. It wasn't, you know, a lot of games have trouble whereas in like everything looks bland, and like Saints Row 3. Saints Row 3 is very bland and stereotypical, like construction sort of thing, but the thing about Max Payne 3, that a lot of things were colorful, the music was really well done. There'd be moments where you'd be in the slums, but you know there was still a lot of action and explosive and color. Like if you ever looked at the backdrop or the sky drop, like the sun, it would bring a lot into it. You know, the use of everything was perfect, and for a Rockstar game, it surely delivered. But writing on the first two Max Payne games, it had a lot to work with, it had a lot to work on, and it did well. And it was definitely worth replaying. I mean, I replayed the game, every single mission, and I was blown away. Possibly even more than when I first replayed it. And sure, you know, you remember some of the things that happen when you play some of the things, but you're still kind of puzzling yourself because you kind of forget, like, oh, wait, is this how it works, or is that how that works? And you can never remember. So that was one of the things that made Max Payne 3 so good, is that there was just so much replayability to it, and the characters were fun to connect to, and it was so colorful. And the game was it was almost perfect. It was a really good game. The game was, some people didn't like it because it's straight to it was, compared to the first two games, it was too different, but I think sometimes you need to change a game up just a little bit. Not like Brothers in Arms Furious 4, where you go from Matt Baker to 4 crazy psycho Borderlands themed World War II soldiers, but like what Max Payne 3 did by you know, kind of changing some things up, but for the better, because it made the game a lot more fun in my opinion. But hey, that's just those are a couple games that I enjoyed replaying. Alright, I think that's it for this video, just to kind of get back on track with YouTube, but I will explain the whole Steam situation with you guys later, because that's the reason I haven't been able to upload in the past 6 months, or play PC games really for the past 6 months, is this whole Steam problem. But I will address that later at another time. I'm going to write kind of like some notes to talk about that, because it is a very big problem. I've let go for too long, but I'm going to finally address it now so I can start uploading more. But until then, I will just kind of do these more like video blog sort of things where I'm kind of talking to you guys. But this video was the top 3 games I feel like should be replayed if you own them. Thank you guys for watching. But I will make sure to get this problem addressed. I will upload more frequently if I can, because now it's summer, I have more free time. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.